Welcome to True Crime All the Time. I'm your host, Koko Fernandez, and in this podcast, we dive into scary, unsettling, strange, and often disturbing topics surrounding true crime. Carlson was born in 1975 in Kansas. By most reports, she actually had a pretty, normal life. She had siblings and a caring mom. Her parents actually divorced when she was younger, which her mom believes made her kind of the way she is, how she is. So, growing up, Amy did struggle with eating problems. She developed eating disorders. She believed that she was fatter than other kids or more overweight. So, that's kind of where she developed an eating disorder where she would starve herself and go on crazy diets. Her mom actually supported this for some reason and did these diets with her. But keep that in mind for later because we are going to be talking about the subject of eating disorders in the cult. As an adult, Amy Carlson worked at McDonald's. She was actually married and had 2 kids, which she later abandoned. She randomly abandoned them. They were young, elementary school. At a family party, she just, got up and left, and they never heard from her for, many years. So, around this time, when Amy ran away in her 30s, she started discovering New Age spirituality, started unraveling some of her own mysteries that she had in her head, and many conspiracy theories. So she took it upon herself to do social media live streams and more online projects. So her charisma pulled a lot of people in and ended up creating Love Has Won. So the members would move into houses together, and they were always with each other. A big habit that they had was actually substance use, which may or may not be the reason why they are the way they are, why they got so brainwashed. I don't know. They did a lot of psychedelics. Alcoholism was a big problem for Amy. Alcoholism was actually a big issue for Amy. A lot of the members ended up saying that she was usually drunk, and even when she was, you couldn't tell because she was so immune to it. So, some beliefs of Love Has Won was that Amy Carlson lived 534 lives as Marilyn Monroe, Joan of the Arc, Jesus Christ, many people. So she just had these crazy delusional thinking patterns, and it was very toxic. She believed that she was the one divine creature on this earth, that she created Earth herself. So, Amy preached that she was God, and she had several father gods, which were men in her life that were around and were easily manipulated to kind of, go along with what she was saying. So, Amy actually was not a good mother because she would often bully and actually cuss out a lot of her members, calling them different names, a lot of profanity being used, just very much not a kind person. So they got a lot of money from people online, paying them to give them spiritual guidance. They actually sold essential oils, soaps, and colloidal silver. That's the next topic. So I don't know if you pronounce it colloidal or colloidal. I've heard it both ways, but it is basically silver in water, small particles of silver. It is told it cures illnesses like COVID-19 and bad mental health cases, but the FDA has openly said it has no health benefits. They have warned them to stop spreading medical misinformation, but they didn't listen. So Amy herself would drink dozens of bottles of colloidal silver daily. They didn't realize how dangerous drinking colloidal silver could be. You can actually get a disease called argia, which can permanently stain your skin blue, which ended up happening to Mother God. Photos of her near the end looked very sickly. She looked very blue, very skinny. She was actually under 90 pounds. As a 50-year-old woman, if you didn't know that, that is very dangerous. So her consumption was very unhealthy. So another thing that plays into this was eating disorders. A lot of the members from Love Has Won actually dropped weight significantly. They became very sick looking. Family watching from home, the live streams and the YouTube videos, were very concerned about their health. It was a matter of life or death at that point. The reason why Amy stopped eating could be a factor of many things. A big one was for ascension. Her galactics informed her of her needing to weigh 80, 70 pounds, enable for them to lift her to the 5th dimension. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So the whole house's health became deteriorated due to substance abuse, eating disorders, not to mention now child abuse. There was a member who had brought her kids, and it was said that there was a lot of neglect. They didn't eat, and it was just very unhealthy for them. They actually had to be removed from the home by their grandma because she was worried for their health. So good on the grandma for getting them out of there. Happy for them. Happy for them, but their mom was so deep into the cult. So a lot of former members have spoken out and talked about financial issues, how they didn't get any compensation after leaving the cult, and how they got scammed. It was a scam for money, invalidation, and respect. So they talked about mental manipulation and a lot of emotional issues regarding that. So by 2021, Amy's health had sinked to rock bottom. She could barely walk. She was paralyzed from the waist down. She was very blue, very skinny, very sick looking, okay? So the members of the cult told her, "We need to get you to Hawaii." The Galactics are telling them to go to Hawaii, so they go. They get absolutely shred apart by the town. Everyone there is telling them to go back home, throwing rocks at their windows, breaking their car doors, or breaking their cars, breaking their property, because they want them to leave the island that they were staying at, just due to the cult life and stuff like that. In April 2021, Amy was discovered in a Colorado home, mummified, covered in Christmas lights, surrounded by all of her cult members. So they discovered the scene as something like out of a horror movie. It was very shocking for the police officers and very unsettling. So the crazy part is the members actually traveled several states with a dead body mummified, and they didn't get sent to prison any longer. They were taken into custody for child abuse and obviously traveling with a dead body, but nobody was charged to a big extent. They actually all got released. They are all free because they couldn't tie that they killed Amy. They had no evidence, and they concluded that Amy died on her own terms, which is true. So here's the aftermath of this whole situation. A lot of formers ended up speaking out. A lot of them are still hanging on to Mother God's legacy. They actually have a website called Joy Reigns. You can visit it, and they are still posting daily. They're still following this belief. The YouTube channel is still up. You can go watch all the videos and see for yourself just how crazy this whole situation was. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this crazy, unsettling tale. Thank you so much for watching True Crime All the Time. Again, I'm Koko Fernandez. Have a great day.